Good morning, family. How y'all guys doing? Thank you for tuning in. And this morning we are going to map out key levels and look up the greatest trade ideas, trade areas, and zones to be patient for and wait for while we're trading today. Okay, guys? So let me remove all or some of these lines and let's make new ones for today in this zone. So please watch my cursor as I make new zones, delete lines, point to the right side and talk in this column about um, price, okay, and price numbers and zones, and how we're going to chart out our trade idea for today, okay? Please pay attention to the things that I look for so this can help you become a better trader and also teach you a better way to be able to um, enter and exit in your trades today. Okay, so with that being said, this FVG from yesterday, we already tested it and hit, so it's kind of over and done with. We are at that halfway point. That's what this line is. Okay, so I do want to keep that because typically if we fall below here, we'll keep coming down. And we are almost, I would say, getting close to halfway here. Okay, between the lower middle and upper middle VWAP. Okay, and if you've been watching my videos, as long as we're above upper middle VWAP, we go up. And another important thing that we want to map out today, okay, the first thing we want to do is the 6 o'clock candle that just happened right now, guys. And remember, I'm going to say this in all my videos, 6 o'clock candle was right here. There it is. There it is. So at 7 o'clock, it will finish. So it's not quite done yet. So we may need to adjust this line. But as of right now, guys, this is a very important zone. Because what happens at the 6 o'clock candle, guys, is very telling. And I'm going to explain that again because it's very important. And these are things that I have noticed over the years of trading. 6 o'clock candle. Here's the top of the 6 o'clock candle. And we're on the hourly chart right here, my cursor. 6 o'clock candle. Price is 26,195 right here, 26,195. And it's moving up and down. And this price will start to move more rapidly as the day progresses and as market opens. And what happens at this 6 o'clock candle area is that we are going to either pull, if we're above, if this wick of this top of this 6 o'clock candle doesn't move, okay, if we don't need to adjust it, say we need to adjust it up to here, I don't know, price could come up to here before 7 o'clock, and then we may have to adjust it up to here. Okay, however, it doesn't look like it. It looks like we're going to keep coming down through here, lower, probably into this area right here, or into here, okay, and hold support at our middle line from yesterday's FVG, okay? Anyways, guys, so what happens, let me get back to that. What happens at this 6 o'clock candle today is that if we hold above this price, we will go up into this zone, okay? This area was yesterday's, I believe, 6 o'clock candle right here. Boom. Yesterday, right here. Here's yesterday. And I can even put this right there so we know. Boom. So I'll put that end of that line right there so we know that's a 6 o'clock candle from yesterday. And then I believe this was the 10 o'clock right here, so we can put that right there so we know yesterday, January 28th, 2026, this was the 10 o'clock candle. Okay, and what's so important about this area? Look, from here, it came all the way down to here. This is the 4-hour. Okay, you see that? And then all of a sudden, it just stops and then goes back. Isn't that funny, guys? Well, that's because this is very important, this area right here. See? Because from 6 to 10, you always if we would have went above here, we would have went like this, all the way up. Okay? But we didn't. We couldn't get above. So what happens? We come all the way down, and that's what's looking like it's doing right now. For 6 o'clock, it's looking potentially, okay, that we're gonna come all the way down to here. Potentially. Could we stop here and reverse and come up? We still have 20 more minutes. Could, potentially. We could. But we typically go far away from this area, guys. Okay, so if we're below it, we go far away from it for 4 hours. Okay, and that's exactly what's starting to happen right now. We're starting to go far away. So we may start to do this thing and go far away. And if we don't hold support here, guys, in this zone right here, okay, watch out, because we could start to flush down lower into our other zones that we have, okay, mapped out. And we may want to get down into here, into this zone or lower, okay, this liquidity zone, and retest it, guys, before we, head back up today. However, on the higher time frame, we're bullish. So overall, we are going up. Okay, so definitely keep those things in mind. Okay, but we are going to map out this area. Is very important to know your 6 o'clock and your 10 o'clock hourly candle. I always put these lines, these orange perforated lines, at the top and bottom of the 6 o'clock and 10 o'clock candle, because it guides me. It guides me for being able to make these trades. Okay. Now, with that being said, let's continue to make our lines. So this line, we don't need no more. We can delete it. This line I can put right there is good. And it kind of lines right up with our 50. Okay, which gives me, the more lines I have in an area, it tells me the more support zones I have. I know for some people, they don't like all the lines. It confuses them. But for me, I can't trade without them. Everybody has their own unique ways of doing things. So whatever helps me is what I'm going to use. And I don't care what anyone else says or thinks about what I do, because if it helps me, then I'm going to keep doing it. All right. Anyways, so all the haters, okay, you can take that somewhere else. You can go somewhere else with my 0 followers. I'm joking. Anyways, so my prediction for today, guys, my prediction is we have a couple scenarios at this point in time. Okay, one, we make this W, okay, and we come down. Either we hold into this zone, which is 26,100, which has been, a key level we've been talking about since yesterday, and we were hanging around here, at the end of the day yesterday till close, until Tesla after hours and Tesla earnings, we came all the way down and then powered back up. Okay, so this is a really good support level right here, guys. 26,100. However, I know there's a lot of buyers down here. Okay, and so I'm sure if you look on Bookmaps, which is something you can use, I believe you can find it on YouTube or pay for it. And that will show you where orders, or liquidity they call it, where a lot of people probably place orders to get down here. So I wouldn't be surprised if we try to do one of these where we wick down here and pick up these orders so we can keep flying high. Okay, guys. However, if we do break below this point right here, okay, if we do, let me put a little line. Let me put another little line here. Okay, if we do break below here, guys, okay, we will continue to fall. We'll make this one red. And I put the red line because, we can make it perforated. Okay, so we know if we do drop from here, we're coming down into here or lower. Okay, guys, until we find support. Just because we have these support lines doesn't mean it's going to just turn around and keep going up. I mean, we could keep falling until we find a real actual support level, guys. Okay, but this could be a support level. If price is moving really fast, if this is moving like super fast, like this yesterday, if you go back on market replay and watch how fast if price is moving that fast when you get into one of these zones, don't even look for buys. Don't look for a pop-up. It could just keep flushing. Okay, however, if price is moving slow like this, barely going, barely going, then you have a better chance of getting a bounce back up here, guys. Okay, so as of right now, we broke past that 50% point here. We're definitely gonna most likely get into the 142 area, and most likely get into the 2600 100 area as well, close to this morning, until we start to find support, guys. So let's keep that in mind. So these are going to be areas to start paying attention to when we get down into here. Okay, and then also this area is going to be a good area to start looking for trades this morning as well. Okay, if we can get down into here. Okay, however, be careful, because if we don't pop up fairly quickly into this zone, have a tight stop. You don't want to go lower than here. If you're getting buys at 26,034, I would have a tight stop at like 18. Okay, 26,018. Just under this blue line. 16, 18, right around there is good. Let me put it probably right here underneath this wick. So yeah, 18, perfect. Okay, excuse me. All right, guys, so we are another line we can draw into here is right there. Okay, I like to draw this little trend line right here, because I'll know once we crack under here, okay, then we'll continue to come down into this area and or lower into here, okay, into this zone. But for me, okay, this is the zone I want to look for, okay, either here or here, most likely here, the lower one, is what I'm going to be looking for to start looking for buys. Okay, guys. So if you wanted to, you could right click on your screen and you can hit a green one, a buy order. Okay. Obviously, you don't want 30 contracts. You would do something like this and change it to 1. And then you can also move it by clicking, dragging, and pull. And then we can reset it here like that. Boom. Now it's just 1 contract. And so this would be my stop loss right there at 18, 17, like we discussed. Okay, a little bit more. And then this is where you take profit. So this would be your loss. Okay, this would be like a 2R trade because this is almost double the size. You want this, you always want your loss to be um, uh, less than what your profit is. Okay, so this is 1 size. Okay, if you were to double this size, you would get 2. Okay, so that would make this like a 2R trade. And then if you wanted to make it like a 3R trade, then you take 3 of these, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now you got a 3R trade and a 4R and 5R and so forth. Okay, so if you hear people talking like that, that's what they're saying. But typically in this type of trade, the safest trade would be right into this zone. So you hold here, you come here, and you can get this here to here pretty easily if we hold support right here, okay? And then once you break past this barrier, which since we're bullish, most likely we will, and then, you can run all the way up here, okay? And typically, if you hold support here and you don't reject here, you can assume that you're going to continue to trend upward, okay, guys? So as of right now, we do have our little trend line here that I think will be broken here soon, okay? And once we, break this trend line, then, we can come down into this area here. And then, most likely if market hasn't opened by that time, okay, and it's still pre-market and we get into this area, then we could probably come up into here, reject, and then come back down. Okay, so I put this line here, to also reference me on a rejection. So if I'm doing quick trades or sniper trades, okay, then I know like, okay, it's pre-market, we dropped into here, I'm catching the bounce to get up into here because there's probably buyers right here. And if there's not enough buyers, then we're going to come up into here, reject right here on our lower middle VWAP line. Don't get these confused, guys, because this is our 40 EMA and this is our lower middle VWAP, okay? And just for me, I'll go over all these lines again really quick right now. Okay, I know there's a lot of them, but if I click this button right here, it tells you all of them. So I got my 200, EMA or SMA, EMA, same thing pretty much. And then it's your estimated moving average, your 21 day, your 50, your 40, your 9, your VWAP. Okay, your VWAP, your 15 EMA, your 30 is gray. I don't know why I got all these VWAP on there. And then I got my NOM, which is the most important. Okay, and voila, I can trash that. We don't need all these VWAPs, they're all the same thing. This is the middle VWAP, which is the most important. I got my Bollingers now I don't got them. Bollingers help to show, again, just kind of like VWAP, but overbought and oversold territories for, some pullback and short-term reversal areas. Okay, but overall, the trend is your friend, guys, and we are going up. Okay, so as of right now on the higher time frames, okay, we are bullish. And remember, guys, when you have more than 3 time frames lining up, okay, you're bullish. Now, if we don't hold this area, okay, say we drop below this area, guys, okay, into our zones, into our bound zones. If we don't hold this area right here, okay, like if we drop below here basically and we can't get back up above this area, which is your 26,100, okay, if we can't get above 26,100 today, guys, I need you to know that we are going to go down, 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 down. So you need to know, it's very important. It's very, very, very important, guys. Because sometimes when you're trading, you can get lost and confused and you're going too fast and you're not remembering your price and what area you're in. You have to know 26,100. If we reject here, okay, at market open, we drop underneath it and we can't get back above 26,100, okay, you will fall at least halfway of this range. So if you take this range right here, okay, you take this range, you can do something like this, fib. What's halfway of this range? Boom. 50%, boom. Where's that at? Right in my trusty blue line right here, guys. You're going to come halfway, okay? Will we get there halfway today? Maybe, yeah, we could. Typically these things move pretty fast. However, it could range and just slowly get down there. It may take 2 days. But I think most likely we'll get there today if we can't hold here, okay? So 50% range, I got my line there. And then these areas will just be like little bounce areas. Let me delete these lines. Really don't need those lines because I'm just going to automatically assume, okay, if I can't hold these levels and bounce back, and this would be the extreme level, right here, guys. This is the extreme level here, okay? And it also lines up with our trend to go up, okay? But look, we're above here, and we're actually in a squeeze, okay, on the daily, because we're above this upper outer VWAP. So we're actually in the process of squeezing up here, guys. Okay, and we can continue to get up into this zone right here, which is going to be our A1 sell zone, 26,579, 26,600. This is our A sell zone. Start looking for sells into this area, guys, okay? But that's going to be the trade idea for today. Okay, if we are going to hold and continue up, we have to go be above 26,100. Okay, that is the trading plan and the trade idea for today, guys. Okay, so if you can get buys underneath it, great. Ride it and let it ride. But the minute you can't get back above 26,100, you better be switching to sells. And that's all there is to it, guys. Otherwise, you're out. Okay? Because what can happen, okay, is that once you hit 26,100 and reject, okay, and we're at 26,169 and we're slowly getting back down there, okay, because most likely we are going to get back down there right now. It needs a retest here, and it's probably going to come down into here, which is going to be the A1 buy areas. So if we don't hold here, it may come close or halfway to these lines before you bounce and then reject, or maybe you reject here. Sometimes, depending on how bearish we are, if that were to happen, you don't even make it up to the 26,100. you'll make it like just before 26,073, and then you'll reject. Okay, or if you're super bearish, you won't even make it up there, and you'll start to reject around 26,034, and then boom, you just keep coming down, guys. So 26,100, that's what we're mapping out. That's the zone. If we are above it, we go up. If we're below it, we go down. Okay, if you're above, and then this is your 6 o'clock candle. Okay, if you're below this, remember, price always goes far away from this, just like it did here. Look, far away, boom, 4 hours. So maybe we do this again today. Far away, boom, 4 hours down, and then back up. Those are things to think about while we're trading. As you see right here, this has been an up. Okay, we came down, we bounced on the lower VWAP band. Okay, over sold territories. We came all the way up to the upper VWAP band, and we tapped our head once, almost twice, almost 3 times, and on the third time we down. And then look, we tried to hold middle VWAP, but guess what happened, guys? We broke under the 200 EMA. We couldn't get back above it. We couldn't hold middle VWAP. And it's just like, when it starts bouncing like this, and I always know, like, when price is doing this right on our middle VWAP or on any of these lines, and it just can't get above and hold, you can automatically start to assume we're going to keep coming down. And that's what it does now. In between purple and yellow line, and purple and VWAP, and how these lines are, this is always chop. We always chop a lot right here, guys, all the time. And if you watch my videos, I'm starting to say this a lot in my videos, because this is the A1 chop area. Sometimes these lines are like this, or sometimes you're above in these lines like this, but when you get into this zone, okay, this is the chop. Okay, it's always like between purple and VWAP and purple and 200 all the time. So this is chop. Chop, 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 chop. Okay, so just know we are in the chop right now. We're chopping it up. And obviously, if we can't hold here, which I don't think we will, I think we're going to come down and retest this zone. Okay. Then, yeah, if we don't hold this zone, then yeah, we, magnetize, because all these lines, remember, these lines, and we don't need this line no more. That's an extra line we don't need. Okay, we're always going to magnetize down. Okay, now I want to delete that line. Don't need that line. Okay, we see. Look, I'm deleting some lines. I'm deleting. For all you guys out there talking about my lines. Okay. All right, and this is I'm gonna do this. I'm adding another line, guys, because this is a very important line to me. Okay, I always like to know where my previous day upper VWAP band is, because I will know, okay, automatically, that if I get above this line, I squeeze up. However, remember, usually the first time you get here, this is a sell. Boom. And if it holds here, okay, or if it holds here, one of these lines, or if it holds in the middle, wherever, okay, then on the second or third time, okay, we'll blast up. However, if market opens and price is here, and price is moving super fast on market open, we could just blast through it on the first attempt. Okay, but typically I'm looking for sells around this zone, if it's not around market open, just to get a little pullback, a little, sniper trade, and with a tight stop. And then, and then on the second go around or third, then I'm thinking, okay, we're blasting through here. Okay, guys. Alrighty then. So with that being said, 26,100, that's our key zone. Best buy zones are going to be potentially around 26,034 and or 25,032 to 25,000, 950, 960. Okay. So look for those areas for buys. And again, if we get a buy in here under 26,100, you better be watching out to see if we start to reject into 26,033 and most importantly 26,100. If we can't get above that after we get below it, we're coming all the way down to 50%, guys. Let's go back to where's 50%. And get our 50%. Okay, 50%. Go back to, I think I gotta go back to the daily so I can see my 50. Okay. Let me get back to the hourly. Boom. Okay, 50% is going to be right here. Our blue line that we have, which is 25,442. Okay, 25,442. You can start looking for, bounces into. Now I'm gonna move that line to. Do I already have a line here? Yeah, to here. Okay, guys, and that's gonna be our potential bounce zones into either 50 or 38.2. These are going to be good bounce zones right here, guys. Okay, and then I can move this line and do something like that. Okay, there. All right, guys, so that's how I'm going to keep my lines for today. And I'm also going to move that here. Okay, because these are going to be new important levels for us while we're trading. Okay. And I don't need that. I don't need that. Delete some of those lines. Could probably do something like so. All right, guys. So these are going to be our new levels. Again, this is, looking like it could be a W. We could hold. I mean, you could hold here and blast up. I don't think so. I think we're going to come retest here or down here. We've been coming lower before the blast ups. So, I mean, look at this low. We had something similar right here. See, look, kind of matches. And then it came down and retested right here, our line. See? I'll come down right here, retested our line. Boom. This would have been like the 26,100 right here. Came a little bit lower, got back up above it, and the rest is history. We're kind of in this same kind of spot. How long did it take? It took January 22nd to January 26th. Okay, so think about that too, guys. Okay, it took from the 22nd to the 26th, which is how many trading days? It is 22nd. So 1, 2. Okay, it took 3 trading days because that was over a weekend. Okay, 3 trading days that we ranged. Okay, boom, 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 boom. And we were bouncing above this 200. We got below it, got some buys, and then boom. So we're kind of like, I feel like we're right here in this area right here today. Okay, so we can boom, come a little bit lower, and then power right up. Okay, so that's the trading plan for today. And then once we get above here, once we get above 26,314, guys, once we get above that, it's off to the races. And most likely we're going to magnetize, up to 26,000, 500, 26,550. Okay. And that's our going to be looking for our A1 sell zone into that area. Okay. So I hope this video helped. 35 minutes. I hope you're watching this. This is going to help you make some money for today, guys. All right. Have a good day. Bye-bye.